Thank you, Mataji. And the translator of the day is Vaish Mataji. She have been introduced previously. Thank you. Thank you, Mataji.
Just give me a minute. I'm just going live.
And thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. We are live now. Okay. So Hare Krishna, everyone. I'm just filling in for Prabhuji's today as they are on a travel. Is my voice audible to everyone?
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Super. Hare Krishna.
Mataji.
Yeah. So just quickly, let me start with the prayers. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjalashalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirveshesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So today we are going to be doing chapter 8. It's great to see all of you here today. You know, you've completed 7 chapters, and this is a great chapter called Attaining the Supreme, or the Akshara Brahma. The Akshara Brahma Yoga is, Akshara means the imperishable, that which cannot perish, the imperishable, the Akshara. Akshara is the imperishable, so one who is present everywhere. So how do we attain the Supreme at the time of when we are struggling with our last breath? That is the essence of this chapter. Okay, so let me share my screen with you. Let me go to the chapter. So,
excuse me, Mataji.
Yeah.
So if you mention about Akshara, is Akshara the same as Amar? What means immortal, Amar?
I don't know. I don't know that word that you're using right now.
No, because Amar means opposite is Mar.
Amar is immortal. Yeah, Amar. Okay, Amar is immortal. Yes, Bhagavan is immortal. He is Amar. Yeah, we are not Amar.
So, yes. So Amar means the same as Akshara. That's what
I don't know. I'm not an expert on dictionary, so I will not be talking about that right now. Okay. So can you all hold on your questions to the last, please? Otherwise, we won't be able to finish this chapter. Yeah, and this is a short chapter, so I'm sure we will have a lot of time to do some Q&A. So this chapter has 28 verses, and it's lovely to see all the Matajis, you know, recited this, all the verses and the shlokas in this chapter. So can we have? Is it okay if we can reserve the questions for the end? Vaishnaviji, Meenakshi ji, can we reserve the questions for the end?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Okay. Now, let me go to the play mode. Yeah. So we are going to be talking about the Akshara Brahma Yoga, or attaining the Supreme. Okay. Now, verse number 1, Arjuna inquired. What did he inquire? He said, "O Lord, Supreme Person, what is Brahman? What is the self? What are the fruitive activities? What is material manifestation? And what are the demigods? Please explain this to me." Okay, so this chapter predominantly has around 6 sections. The first one is 1 to 4, is all about Arjuna's questions to the Lord. The second one is how do we remember the Lord in our final moments. The third one is how do we remember Krishna? By our bhakti. The next one is remembering Krishna through pure bhakti, and as well as what is the difference between the material world and the spiritual world. And the last but not the least is the supremacy of pure bhakti in attaining Krishna. Okay. Now we'll also take the second verse. In the second verse, he says, how does this Lord of sacrifice live in the body? And in which part does he live? O Madhusudana. And how can those engaged in devotional service know you at the time of death? Okay. Very important question. So what are the things he's asking? He's asking, who is the Brahman? And then the next question is, what is Adhyatma? Yeah. Then what is karma? So you may wonder, all this has already been covered. Why is Arjuna asking these questions again? What is Adi Bhuta? Adi Bhuta is the Prakriti. What is Adi Daiva? Adi Daiva is the Virata Purusha of the Lord. Then who is Adi Yagna, the Lord of sacrifice? How is the Adi Yagna known in the body? And how to know you at the time of death? So these are the two questions. And this is something that comes from the latter parts of chapter 7. And I want to go back to that and see if we can just look at that for a minute so that it helps us in our recollection. Let me go back. Let me go to our Veda base. We are in chapter 8. Let me go to chapter 7. Chapter 7, knowledge of the absolute. So I'm going to go to the last two verses. In text 829, he says, intelligent persons who are endeavoring for liberation from old age and death take refuge in me in devotional service. They are actually Brahman because they entirely know everything about transcendental activities. Verse 30, those in full conscience of me, who know me, the Supreme Lord, to be the governing principle of material manifestation of the demigods and of all methods of sacrifice, can understand and know me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even at the time of death. So let's see what verse 29 is about. So he says, birth and death, old age and disease affect this material body. Yeah, not the spiritual body. There is no birth, death, old age, and disease for the spiritual body. This was explained as the Jnana Yoga section of chapter 2, right? So therefore, who attains the spiritual body becomes one of the associates, because we are all part and parcel of the Paramatma. We are all the Jivatmas, part and parcel of the Paramatma. Okay. And he says, I am spirit. It is said that one should understand that he is Brahman, the spirit soul. The Brahman conception of life is also in devotional service as described in this verse. The pure devotees are transcendently situated on the Brahman platform. One who is always thinking about the Lord is always on the Brahman platform, right? And they know everything about the transcendental activities, okay? And he also says 4 kinds of impure devotees engage themselves in transcendental service of the Lord. Do we know that? Can we have it on the chat, please? Who are the 4 kinds of devotees that are being referred to here? Or you want to just talk about it? Each one can be unmuted. Who are the 4 forms? Who are the 4 kinds of impure devotees? Nobody? Yes, Sudhaji? Hare Krishna?
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Are we talking about the 4 non-devotees or devotees?
Here, he's saying 4 kinds of impure devotees.
Impure. The first one is Mudhatma or fool. Someone who, like a donkey, works very hard and does not find time for spiritual activities. So that is the first kind of non-devotee.
And
I think the second one, second one was Naratama or something. I don't remember fully, but I think a person who is always involved in sinful activities, Naradama. And
okay.
Correct. And then the third one, I think someone who is always deluded by, or is in delusion with Maya, like deluded spectators. And the last one is Asura Bhava, people who are having the Asur Bhava. So I think these are the 4 non-devotees.
Okay.
Yesterday.
Okay. So who are the pure devotees?
The pure devotees,
the 4 types of worshippers.
Yeah, one is, I think, the inquisitive one who is always inquisitive and wanting to know. And the other one is who is always wanting to seek the truth, the absolute truth.
Yeah.
And I think the other 2 I'm forgetting.
Artha and Artharthi. Artha is the one who's distressed.
Okay.
And that's the example of Gajendra, you must have heard yesterday. Then Artharthi is Dhruva Maharaj. Okay?
Okay. Thank you, Mataji.
Great. Hare Krishna. Thank you. So in the next chapter, what is Arjuna asking? So, not Arjuna, sorry. Those in full, Bhagavan is saying, those in full conscious of me, who know me, the Supreme Lord, to be the governing principle of the material manifestation of the demigods and of all methods of sacrifice, can understand and know me, the Supreme Personality of God. Persons acting in Krishna consciousness are never deviated from the path of entirely understanding the Supreme Godhead. In the transcendental association of Krishna, one can understand how Supreme Lord is governing the principle of material manifestation and even of the material. And gradually, by such transcendental association, one becomes convinced of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And at the time of death, such a Krishna conscious person can never forget Krishna. Naturally, he is thus promoted to the planet of the Supreme God, Goloka Vrindavana. Okay, so I'm just going to put this away. I'm going to come back. So these are the 2 verses that we saw. Okay, these are the questions. The chapter 8 is a continuation from chapter 7, the last section of chapter 7, and the initial first 2 questions that we saw. Now, what are the questions? The questions are, what is the Brahman? All of you know who is the Brahman. Brahman is the spirit. Okay, and we are the Jivatma, who are the indestructible living entity. The body goes from childhood, from the time of birth to childhood, to boyhood, to adulthood, and then finally the time of death. The body disintegrates, but the Jivatma continues. The Adhyatma, the controller of the body, okay, that is, the Paramatma is always there, and he is the controller of all our bodies. Karma is fruitive works or activities, actions leading to the material body. Okay, every material body has to be involved in some action or the other. That you must have read. There are 2 activities. One is karma and one is no action. And no action, doing nothing, is a karma, which is not acceptable. Okay, and then in karma, there are several types again. In action, there is a nitya karma that all of us have to continue doing. Then it's the naimitika karma, which are activities that come from time to time, which are special, which has to be catered to. Yes, Sudhaji, why are you raising your hand? Sudhaji, you're raising your hand? Sudhaji? Hare Krishna?
Hare Krishna, Mataji. That was, I think, from the previously.
Okay.
I've lowered it now.
Okay, thank you. Then Adi Deva. He says, who is the Adi Deva? Adi Deva is the universal form of the God that also has all the demigods, or demigod means all the devatas. Then Adi Bhuta is the material manifestation, which is the material, the prakriti, the material nature. Yadi Yagna is the enjoyer of the sacrifice, the Paramatma, who is always there with us. Then where does the Adi Yagna reside? All of you know it very well. He resides in our heart. How to remember Krishna at the time of death? You can't remember him overnight. It has to be by way of practice, and we are going to see that now. Okay.
Mataji, I'm just seeing the slides. 1 minute. Just the previous slide on the columns. I'm just making points.
Yeah, no, the slides will be shared with you, so you'll have it. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now 8.3. What is the Lord saying in 8.3? I don't know why the Sanskrit shloka is not here. Okay, 8.3 is Aksharam Brahma Param Swabhavo Adhyatmam Uchyate Bhuta Bhavod Bhavakaro Visharga Karma Samnyattaha. So Supreme Lord said the indestructible, transcendental living entity is called the Brahman. Okay, and I'm sure Prabhuji explained to you that the Brahman is what is all pervading, omnipresent, omniscient, there everywhere. And his eternal nature is called the self. That is, he is always present in us as the Paramatma, okay, along with the Jivatma. Action pertaining to the development of these material bodies is called karma or fruit of activities. Every action that each of the material living entities indulge in, there are 840,000 living species. So each one of us, depending on our karma phala, depending on the vasanas that we carry from the various cycles of birth and death, based on that, we get one of the living we get the body of one of the living entities of the 84 lakhs species that are there in this world. Okay, but in spiritual nature, there is only one body, right? And he also says that the Paramatma is always there with us as the Jivatma. It's up to us to ensure that we are living the various ideals that we are supposed to have as a living body, so that the Jivatma gets all the encouragement and as well as all the goodness from the Paramatma, and we can then move up in the ladder of our life towards our spiritual goals. But what happens typically is we get so caught up in the Maya. What is Maya? Maya is the Prakriti. The Maya engulfs us. And what is there in Maya? Maya is the Sukha, Dukkha, Shoka. We get engulfed. And how do we get engulfed? Which is through the three modes of material nature, which is the Sattva Guna, the Raja Guna, and the Tama Guna. What is Sattva Guna? Sattva Guna is the mode of goodness, which is where one is absolutely calm, one is at peace with everything. So one has to go move up and ensure the lower tendencies which are there in us as the Rajaguna. It's good to have the Rajaguna. It's good to have that. All of us are a composite of all these three gunas. Every living entity has this. But it's the human being which probably is very lucky to be able to increase their Sattva Guna, because we have the mind and we have the intellect. So therefore, each one of us, along with the body, mind, and intellect, also have the ego. When the ego connects at the body level, it's physical. It enters into physical activities. When the ego comes at the mental level, it engages in emotional activity. When the ego gets in touch with the intellect, it engages in intellectual activity. But once one is in the path of devotion, when one is the path of spirituality, when you have something higher up to hold on to, the ego vanishes. And that's when you are able to rise up and you become a liberated soul, or you become a soul that is fit for liberation or moksha. Okay, so each of these 84 lakh entities are engaging in karma or fruitive activities based on the vasanas or the desires that they carry from all the different previous cycles of birth and death. Okay. Now, look at the way we, as human beings, look at all the various things that we engage in. We are engaging. We have to see, we don't want to be like what the animals do, because animals can't exercise choice because they don't have the intellect, right? God has given us the intellect. So we need to ensure that we kind of get away from our bodily instincts, from our emotional instincts, strengthen our intellect. And as we strengthen our intellect and continue ourselves on the path of spirituality, we rise above everything. We rise above. How do we rise above? Because the I, the ahankara, which sits in us as a form of ego, just vanishes. Once the ahankara goes away, you are absolutely in a state of bliss. You are in the pure sattva guna status. Okay, we don't want to be like the animals. We shouldn't be, because that's what God says. That's what Lord Krishna says. We have to rise above our basic instincts, right?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah.
Ma'am, so based on the previous slide.
Can we have the questions last,
Okay.
please, for heaven's sake? Otherwise, I won't be able to finish the session in an hour's time. Yeah, thank you so much, Hare Krishna. Okay, now 8.4. 8.4, it says, Adibhutam, Adibhutam Ksharo Bhavaha Purushaha Cha Daivatam Adi Yagnoham Evatara Dehe Deha Vratam Vara. The physical nature is known to be endlessly mutable. Everything that comes into this Prakriti is mutable, because that's how it is. We are Kshara. Okay? We are impermanent. Okay? The universe is the cosmic form of the Supreme Lord. The universe has been created by the Lord, and therefore it is the cosmic form of the Supreme Lord. And I am that Lord represented as a super soul, as a Paramatma, dwelling in the heart of every embodied being. And here, Prabhupada says, I think this thing is a little long, otherwise I would have put it up for you. Okay, Prabhupada says, I believe, the caterpillar always thinks of becoming the butterfly. Okay, it keeps thinking. When it's a small little pupa and becomes a caterpillar, it constantly thinks about, when am I going to become the butterfly? Okay, just like the little birds when they're in the nest, they constantly want to get out of their nest, they're looking forward to, growing the wings and they want to fly. So similarly, he says, a person who's absolutely in Krishna consciousness will definitely become part of Krishna, because it is all your thoughts and actions which become finally the product of everything. Okay, so this is nothing but your thoughts and actions, okay, will decide how you are going to be on the path of devotion and how it will lead you ultimately to Krishna, which is what you need to do when you're on this path of spirituality. Okay. 8.5, a very, very important shloka. This is what Arjuna has been asking. This was his, when is he asked? He asked this question. This is question number 7. He says, Anta kale cha mameva smaran muktva kale varam yaha prayati samadbhavam yati nasti atra shamshayah. There's no doubt. Where is it that there's no doubt? Whoever at the time of death quits his body, remembering me alone attains my nature. So see, that's what the last one says. You cannot, overnight, you cannot think of the Lord. Many of us have had those accidental moments, those near-death accidents. You think of it. How often have we able to really think of the Lord or anything around us when we kind of face such situations in life? Therefore, the only thing that will sustain you is constant practice. Practice makes a man perfect. So therefore, we have to start it now. It's okay. When you start is not the matter, but start it somewhere in 2.40. What did the Lord say? Neha bikarma nashosti pratyavayo na vidyate swalpamapi asya dharmasya trayate mahato baha. Of course, whenever you start it, it's not going to go waste. It will always be there, because it's always there as the credits in your bank. It's always there. But however, if you want to ensure that you want to call upon the Lord, even when you are in your last breath, it comes only out of sheer practice and nothing else. So here is another thing. What is this? It says hundreds and thousands of living entities are constantly dying every moment. Now, right now we are in the pandemic. People are dying left, right, center. People are falling ill. But a foolish being nonetheless thinks himself deathless and does not prepare for death. So it is often so. It's happening outside of me. Why do I care? It's not with me. It's not happening for me. It's not happening to my loved ones. It's not happening to my friends. So why should I care? Somebody is dying. We don't care. That is the basic attitude that we all carry. But you have to prepare for the ultimate as well. It's not just how you live the life today. It's also about what after life. So therefore, the most wonderful thing about this world is, we are all foolish. Hundreds of thousands of living entities meet death every moment, but a foolish living entity thinks of himself only. He thinks he's deathless and does not prepare for death. And this is not what we want to be. Now that we know, we are reading the Bhagavad Gita, we have this great opportunity to continue our journey. Okay, this book by Srila Prabhupada, such a simple book, Any layman can, just pick it up and just get on with it after he or she attends these 18 days of classes. We also have further classes in the form of level 2 and level 3 and level 4, which is called the Bhakti Shastri, which does 3 more other texts of Prabhupada. So, so you have a great opportunity here. So seize this opportunity and let's not be a foolish entity as what most people, or as most living entities are. 8.6. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajati antakalevaram tam tam evaiti kaunteya sadathat bhava bhavitaha. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits the body, that state he will attain without fail. See, in the previous verse, in the previous 2 verses, what did they say? The caterpillar constantly dreams of becoming a butterfly, and it becomes a butterfly, right? Similarly, if you constantly think of Krishna, you will become part of Krishna. But if you don't, obviously, you can't be. So here is a story of, I think, Bharat Maharaj. He was a very pious king. He was a very good king, an ardent devotee of the Lord. And he, I think it's there in the next slide. Yeah. What he did is, after fulfilling all his duties, Nitya duties and Naimittika duties, he said, look, I want to, only devote all the rest of my life to the Lord. And he gave it up, though he was a very good man. Nobody wanted to, let go of him. But he said, I'm going to the forest and I want to, focus on the Lord, and I want to focus on the devotion. I want to rise up in the path of spirituality. And one day when he was in his, doing his pujas, he saw a little deer being chased, a pregnant deer being chased by a wild animal. And, in the anxiety, the mother deer, she passed away, but leaving behind the young fawn. And Bharat Maharaj, seeing this, he went and he picked up this deer, and he kind of developed fond affection for this deer. Okay, so much so that he was constantly engaged in taking care of the deer all the time. Okay, and finally, when he died, he was only thinking of the deer, though he was a devotee all along. But somewhere down the line, he forgot all about it. It was only the deer that was there on his mind. And it is said that he took the form of a deer. Okay, so that's what that previous shloka, yam yam vapi smaran bhavam, whatever state of being one remembers, when he quits the body, that state he will attain without fail. So he attained the body of a deer, but however, he being the great devotee, and as I said, we all carry the vasanas, so all the desires, he was, but we don't know what are the vasanas which came from which birth cycle but of course, but because he was a great devotee, he was able to remember. Oh, he said, oh, what a foppa, what did I do, dear Lord? Please, dear Lord, I need to come out of this. Please forgive me. Okay. And of course, he kind of, he got moksha and he came out of it. But of course, we are not Bharat Maharaj. So there's much more than what Bharat Maharaj did. Here is a golden opportunity. So make sure you seize this opportunity and go forward in the path of spirituality. 8.7. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yudhya cha maya arpitta manobuddhir mam evasyasya asamshayah. Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna, because he came in the form of Krishna to this world, right? He played with people in Vrindavana. At the same time, carry out your prescribed duty. Oh dear, he's asking me to think of you, and now you ask me to do your prescribed duty. What is this? With your activities dedicated to me, nishkama karma, and your mind and intelligence fixed on me. That is, staying away from all the sense objects, keeping your sense organs in check. You will attain me without doubt. So please remember, whole of Bhagavad Gita, it always asks us to be in devotion and fulfill our duties. It's not asking us to give up everything and go away to the forest and or to the mountains and, be a saint no. You can do all your activities, but be in moderation. Ensure that you're keeping away, shunning things that are actually an obstacle that can become an aversion. You need to also ensure that you're not attaching yourselves to everything that you do. Nishkama karma. Okay, do your activities, but fully focusing on having the resoluteness, which says vyavasatmika buddhi. Okay, ensure that you're focusing on your end goal, but don't expect the results to be yours, because it's not you. The body has been given to you. Okay, and the Jivatma is in you, and everything that you're doing is because of the energy that you've received from the energetic, which is Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Lord Godhead, the Lordship. Okay, so we are not what we think we are. It was explained to us in chapter 2. We are only we are the soul, we are the body, and we are a Jivatma, right? So therefore, we should always be thinking of the Lord, doing our duties, and ensuring that we are keeping away all the things that can be destructive. Okay. 8.8 Abhyasa yoga yuktena chetasa nanyagamina paramam purusham divyam yati parthanu chintaya. He who meditates on the Supreme Personality of God, his mind constantly engaged in remembering, undeviated from the path, is sure to reach me. Now we are going to see a story. What is the story? This is a story of Ajamila. Ajamila, again, was born in a good family, had all the good kind of, nurturing and everything. And one day when he went to the forest, he saw somebody in the mode of passion. In as much as he knew that he has to keep things in control, he lost control. And finally, he married the woman that he saw in the arms of another man. And what happened? He had many children, and he just forgot about God. All that the family taught him and everything went into the air, and he forgot. Okay. And what happened? When he was in his deathbed, he remembered, he was frail and he was absolutely weak. All this is in the Bhagavatam. Okay. So those of you who wish to continue, your journey with us will get an opportunity to read all this. And also, familiarize yourself with this, because this will actually help you in kind of understanding a lot of concepts that you read in the book. So, then what happens? The Yamadharma, all the Yamadutas come. The moment he sees all those gory faces, he says, oh my God, what did I do? He calls upon the Lord. He says, Narayana, please come and help me. And actually, Narayana came, is what it said, the story goes. Because remember, the 2.4, Swalpamapi asya dharmasya. Even a small endeavor that you do on this path will never go waste. But then he was able to call Narayana. I'm not sure how many of us will be able to call Narayana when we are too weak and frail, unless we practice it from now on. So Narayana comes and helps him from the clutches of Yamadutas and Yama. And then he said that, he takes him, to his world, which is the Vrindavan, Goloka. Okay. Now, one should meditate upon the Supreme Person as the one who knows everything. See, Prabhupada says in one, I don't remember in which phase, he said, we need to be as humble as a grass. Because think about what's a grass? A grass gets trampled upon. All the animals, the animals that eat grass, eat it up. So we need to be humble as a grass. But we should also be not like the tree, because the tree just sways that side when the wind blows. Therefore, the mind has to be in control. Okay, you have to meditate on the Supreme Person because he is the one who knows everything. He's the oldest. He's the controller, who's smaller than the smallest, because he sits as a small little atom as the Paramatma in each of our hearts, who's beyond all material conception. He's just beyond everything. But he's the one who's created everything. So how can he be part of this material? How can he be a material conception? We can't conceive him. He's always a person. He's luminous like the sun. He's there everywhere, omnipresent, omniscient. And being transcendental is beyond this material nature, because he's divine. We are mundane. He's transcendental, right? And it is said, Adi Daivata. Arjuna asked a question. Who is the Adi Daivata? Now, all the Daivatas, all the gods, Prabhupada calls them demigods, because this book was written for the Western audience. So the Daivatas, are all part and parcel of the Lord. The Lord is the whole. Everyone, including the Daivatas, all the people in the heavenly planet, and all the people like us are part and parcel of him. That's why you see this picture. Brahma is meditating on Vishnu. Shiva is meditating on Krishna. Okay, so Everyone. So we are, it's not that, only we, everyone is a part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, which is full of misery. What is it? Dukhalayam ashashvatam. Okay, this world is temporary. And even when we are present in this temporary world, it's full of dukhalayam. Okay, shoka. Okay, dukkha, shoka. Because they've attained the highest perfection. So one who's completely, on the path of devotion will never return to this temporary loka. We will all be able to go to his loka, which is the Vrindavan loka or the Goloka. Okay. Here is the one. Look at it. Look at the way he's jumping. I think it's just a little animation there for you. Okay. So you don't have to struggle doing all the Ashtanga yoga and things like that. We can be normal people doing our normal activities. We can follow our professions. We can help people that need our support. We can take care of our families, but all without attachment. Right? When you do that, and you also keep up with all your devotion to the Lord, the entry is as easily as the way they enter. So instead of struggling, let's look at the easy entry. What is the easy entry? Nishkama karma yoga, swadharma nishkama karma yoga, and bhakti. This is what will lead us to the Lord. Now, 8.16 talks about what? It says, from the highest planet in the material world to the downlist. Whether it's heaven, we know, we all probably, you must have read, you must have been familiarized with all the things that happened in the Satyuga. It was fully at war all the time. Demons and the Devatas were all fighting. We don't want to go to that heaven. Yeah, wherever there has been a war, that place is not going to be a nice one. So why do we want to go to the heaven? We don't want to go to heaven. Earth, we all know what earth is all about. Dukhalayam, ashashvatam. Hell is, of course, hell has to be hell, right? So we don't want to go there. Where do we want to be? From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest. And our places of misery, wherein repeated birth and death cycles takes place. Even if you go to the heavens, after a few years, you have to again come back into the cycle of birth, into this material world. So we don't want to go there. But one who attains my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. One who reaches the Goloka never takes birth again. So this is what it is. The Brahma, the Brahma life runs to some, I think it takes to 1,000 ages, So the life on earth will remain as long as it's the life of Brahma. Once the Brahma life ends, that is annihilation. The entire world goes back into the black hole, or the entire world gets back into the Parabrahma, which is Lord Vishnu. We don't want that. So what do we want? Let's see, 8.20. Yet there is another nature which is eternal. That is the Lord's eternal nature, eternal abode. It's transcendental to the manifested. It is divine and unmanifested matter. It is supreme. It is sublime and is never annihilated. See, every other creation goes through this process of manifestation and annihilation. But this is permanent because that's the abode of Lord Krishna. When all in this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is. Entire universe might go, or several universes might go, but Goloka remains as it is. So what is the Goloka? I think the Goloka chart will be shared with you. So let me see if I can zoom. I can't zoom here. Oh my God, I can't zoom. Let me see if I can zoom. Yeah, I think in this format I can zoom. Yeah. Now, how is the creation takes place? Just to give you a gist. Now, this is the Karano Dakshai Vishnu. Okay. Anadhi Ananda Karanam Sarva Karanam. So he is the one who creates everything. How does he create? He creates the world from the Garbhodakshi, as a Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. That is, the world gets created from his navel. Okay, the lotus is what you see where Brahma is, but look at the number of lokas that have created. Here is where the Bhuloka is. Number 6 is the Bhuloka, right? Yeah, number 6 is the Bhuloka. No, sorry, number 7 is the Bhuloka. Okay, there are There are 8 lokas below this, below the dome, and there are 6 lokas above. Okay, so we can manifest ourselves in any of the lokas, right? And Kshirodakshai Vishnu is the Paramatma who sits in every living entity that is there in all these lokas. Now, what do we want to do? We want to transcend all these things, and we want to go where? We want to go to the Goloka. These are all the Vaikuntha planets. The petals of the lotus is all the Vaikuntha planets. Okay, and this is where the Lord is in his eternal form. This is where we want to be, right? So this is a glimpse. It's a beautiful one. This chart will be shared. Please go through it. I will go back to my presentation mode. This is done. So this is how Krishna is. You can call upon Krishna in whatever form you want. Okay, Krishna was in these forms. He came upon this earth in these various, in his Bhagavan Roop, in the Shama Sundar form. He played with the people in Vrindavan, with the animals, with all the birds, with all the gopis and all the gopas, okay, and with Mother Yashoda. It's absolutely a treatise. You must read the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10 is all about his pastime in Vrindavan. So you can call upon the Lord the way you want. Okay, you want to see him as a friend, he is your friend. You want, he was a charity of Arjuna. Think about it. What a great man he is. He's a Bhakta Vatsala. Okay. And if you want to see him as a parent, he's your parent. If you want to see him as your son, he's your son. If you want to see him as your friend, he's your friend. If you want to see him as your lover, he's your lover. It's up to you. Okay. He is absolutely someone who you can get him in whatever form you want. Okay. Now this is the last slide, I think. What does the last slide say? Okay. Prana, sorry. So this is, I think, this is about a king called Kulashekara. Yeah. The prayers of Kulashekara are there in this Mukundamala Stotra. Okay. What is this? Oh Krishna, what did he say? Look at this. He was a great devotee himself. What did he say? He said, oh Krishna, please allow my mind to immediately yield to your lotus flower-like feet. Please, let me get to your lotus flower-like feet. Just as the flamingo, I believe the flamingos love to enter the lotus flower stem. So let me just enter your lotus feet. When at that moment of my last breath, my throat becomes constricted by the action of the bodily humors, air, bile and phlegm. This is what happens, right? How will I be able to remember? He says, I can't remember you in my last breath because my bodily organs would have failed, right? And there's nothing that will, I'm just, the soul is just is getting ready to leave the thing. I don't want to be in that state. Please take me in at a time when I can remember you. So it's so hard for a devotee like him. So imagine how much harder we have to work if we have to really be in that plane, so that when we breathe our last, when we are ready to leave this body, in a natural way, which we should all, because we just got, I want to leave, no, it doesn't happen that way. We are here for a purpose. We have to do our work, and we have to go through the cycle that we have been given, okay, and in the best possible way. What did the Lord say? Shreya, the best possible way. It need not be perfect, but it has to be the best of your abilities. My abilities may be different from your abilities. Your abilities may be different from other abilities. But whatever it is, each of us have to do it to the best of our knowledge, best of our skills, and to the best possible, and in the best possible way. Okay. So I think this chapter ends. So this is the last verse. What does the last word say? A person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of the results derived from studying the Vedas. Okay, it's not necessary that we have to only study the Vedas to get the benefit. Okay, the devotional path of service called the Bhakti Marga, which is what is being prescribed to us, just the Hare Krishna mantra, is as equivalent to all the things that are there as part of the Vedas. Okay, at the end he reaches the supreme abode. So we all have a great opportunity. Let's seize this opportunity and let's ensure that we live our lives well, based on the guiding principles that have been prescribed to us in the Bhagavad Gita, and with all the blessings of Srila Prabhupada, and make sure that we don't come back to the Dukhalaya. Okay, we want to go to the Goloka, we want to go to the Vrindavan Goloka, we want to be with the Lord, in eternity. Hare Krishna. with that, I've ended this chapter. And if there's anything that I can help you with, please let me know. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, please raise your hands.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Vaishnaviji, you want me to unmute each one of them?
Yes, Mataji, I'm unmuting Mataji.
Okay. Sandhya Kumarji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Thank you.
Mataji, I want to say today's class was wonderful class, and so many doubts I have so many doubts are cleared by your class, and I want to say thank you so much.
I'm so glad. I'm so happy.
It
Hare
has-
Krishna. It's all the blessings of Lord Krishna. You know, we all come prepared to the class, Mataji. Let me be honest here. We all come prepared to the class. But, you know, at the end of the day, how we deliver is all the blessings of Lord Krishna. Okay?
It was
all I can-
the experience was like Lord was directly speaking through your words, ma'am, and so many doubts got cleared. Like I can't say. It has given me. It has helped me in moving further. I was thinking some wrong way, and now in such a busy life, you have given us you have shown us the path that how we can remember the God and till our last breath. Thank you so much, ma'am. From my bottom of my heart, I will say thank you so much. Thank you.
Please continue this journey with us. We have level 2 where we go through each chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, one chapter a week. Okay, so you can imagine, you know, how minutely we go through. Please join us, Mataji, for those classes.
Thank you so
Don't
much,
miss this opportunity. I think Namanishta Das Prabhuji is doing a wonderful service of, you know, his cover, you know, he's been doing, I think the 21st batch he's been doing for the last 2 years, ever since the pandemic broke out. So please join us for that. And then you also have an opportunity to go to level 3. Level 3 again is a detailed study of 3 more additional books. And after that is level 4, where we do an in-depth study. We hardly do, probably we will be doing maybe 10 verses a day, you know, that kind of a thing. Okay. So please,
Sure,
Mataji, don't give up. If these few sessions are inspiring you, I'm sure you will really, really enjoy, you know, continuing on this path, on this journey and on this path, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Sure, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hello, Mataji. This is Varsha here.
Hi, yes, Varshaji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I just have one small doubt. My granny recently expired. Is
Varshaji, somebody, okay. I think everybody's muted, so I'll unmute you, Varshaji. Varshaji? Varshaji, you can speak now. She can speak, right? Varshaji, unmute yourself.
I think she's having some technical difficulties, Janik Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Varshaji, Hare Krishna. Okay, Varshaji, you can put your on the chat. Huh? I'll read it up for you. Yes, Shashikaran Abhijiji, Hare Krishna.
Hello, Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, today's session was really very informative and thought-provoking. Thank you, Mataji. Next thing is, when you showed the thing about, you showed that chart.
The
that
Goloka?
chart where,
The
no,
Goloka chart?
not the Loka. One is when a person next.
Which one is it?
Is thinking of Krishna. Second, there is a person who is drinking. Next birth, he is born as a pig, and which is born as a dog. I saw that. So, so Mataji, whatever we think at the time of our death, whichever creature we imagine before dying, will we be born as that creature? Is it so?
Yes, that's what the Srimad Bhagavatam says. There's a lot of evidence, you know, so if you really want to know more about it, you can read the Srimad Bhagavatam. You know, Veda base is where all our books of Prabhupada are there. You know, he's been such a kind man, such an inspiring man at the age of 69, up until, you know, he disappeared. You know, he's left us with a library of knowledge. Okay. If you can attend classes, do attend. But, if for some reason you can't attend classes, the books are there for you. But you know what? The books make a lot more meaning, when you are in a group of people, study together. Okay. So that's why we say, come, hear us, be with us, and, continue your path. Anyway, now everything is virtual. You can just be where you are. There are a lot of timings available. Whichever timings suits you, please come and, get the nectar of everything that is there that Prabhupada has left for us in a big way. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Kwaish Pawaji, Hare Krishna.
Yes, Hare Krishna Mataji. First of all, I really loved your session. It was great. So, can you hear? Am I audible, right?
Yes, Mataji, absolutely. Go ahead, Mataji.
Okay. So, I have a question. Like in this COVID times, people are dying, and as the Bhagavad Gita says that death is certain. So, people are dying. So, is it like ये जो अभी डेथ्स हो रहा है, so is it like कि उनका सबका टाइम आ गया है, like we say that जिसका जब टाइम आएगा तब the people will die, so there are so many people dying away, so is it their right time or what it is like?
Yeah, you probably, I don't know, let me see, chapter 2, right? Whenever he said Dehino Asmin Yata Dehe. Where is that?
Mataji, can I explain that? Because I know a little bit of, can I explain that to Janik Mataji?
Yeah, go ahead.
But other Mataji, what was your question in that?
She said, why are people dying in so many numbers? And, there are also people dying. Are you saying that these are untimely deaths? And, is this normal?
See, okay, first of all, Mataji, I don't know if she's there, if she can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead, Mataji.
I can hear. Thank you. I can hear.
Okay. Mataji, basically to explain your question in more details. Personally, that Krishna is a Paramatma and Krishna is a soul for all of us. He's obviously the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And even, at this time people are dying of COVID, that means they lost their soul. They basically lost their soul, and that, why they're dying is because at a certain age, if we get, for an example, if we are at a certain age, they're in our ages, like as we grow older, and as we grow older, we have some health problems. We may come up with some health problems. So because of COVID and because of people dying, they're basically leaving their Atman to Lord Krishna, because we know that Lord Krishna is Paramatma, right? Mataji?
Thank you. So let's go back and refer to, I'll put that up on the screen for everyone. Let's go back. Okay. We'll refer to the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is there for us. Let me go back. Let me go to chapter. I'm taking you all back. See, I don't want to take you all to something which is not done. Let's go back to what you've already done. Okay, because you've come up to the 8th chapter. So obviously, we need to also refer to some of the things. Everything is connected in the Bhagavad Gita, by the way. Probably when you come to the 18th chapter, you will realize, how connected everything is. Though the chapters have been broken up, all the chapters, it's not the way God said, oh, come on, right now I'm doing you chapter 1. Oh, now Arjuna, I'm giving you chapter 3. Oh, now, no, he didn't do that. Because he spoke. And these have been broken up by the and they've given it to us as capsules so that, it's easy for us, because to understand, we are not as great, despite all the great advancements that we keep hearing. We are not the way, what people were in the Satya Yuga. Satya Yuga people were highly intelligent. We are not like that. Okay, so to make things easy for us, it's been given to us as capsules in the form of chapters, in the form of verses. Therefore, it's a lovely song. That's why we call Bhagavad Gita. We say Song of the God. So what did he say in chapter 2.14? Let's go back just for a moment. Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitokshana sukha dukadaha agamapayino anityas tam titikshasva o Bharata. What did he say? O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their appearance in due course are like appearance and disappearance of winter and summer season. They arise from the sense perception, O kind of Bharata. One must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. And after that, what did he say? Before that, what did he say? He said, Dehino asmin yata dehe kaumaram yavvanam zara tata dehantar prapti dhiras tatrastamuyati. This body is just like a dress. We get this body. That's why, you know what? We don't know when we are going to die. We don't know when what will happen to us. You know, today our hands and legs and our mind and intellect and everything is working. Our sight, you know, all of us, you know, our sense objects, we're able to feel things around us. We're able to see, we're able to smell, we're able to do this. And we have this great opportunity to read all these texts and be amongst people who are keen to do a lot of things. So therefore, this world is a dukhalayam. It has a lot of miseries. And everything that we see, which we think is ours, my house, my book, my son, my child, is all attachment. Attachment is the one which is going to be creating entanglement, and entanglement leads to more and more entanglements. So therefore, it is a fact of life, whether we die of COVID today or not, there will be a death for us at the end of the day. And we don't know if the last breath is the next second. That is the truth. Therefore, remember there was one slide which said, people here are foolish. Despite knowing the fact a lot of things can happen to others, we think, oh, it only happens there, it hasn't happened to me, why worry? And therefore, similarly, when injustice happens in society, see, the Bhagavad Gita is also about standing up for your rights, standing up for what you think you must do to ensure that the humanity goes on the right path. So we must, see, we cannot disintegrate, we cannot say bhakti is different and my other parts of my, the various surroundings that I have around me is different. Everything is integrated. That's why, and we also need to know the vasanas. The vasanas are not of the desires, are not suddenly crept up in us. There are several personalities who have come up from modest families, and probably in generations in that family, many of them may not have known the S of science, but whereas they turn out to be the greatest of scientists, greatest of philosophers. How does that happen? We call some children prodigies. How do prodigies happen? These are all the vasanas, the desires we have carried, and also our karma phala. Anything that happens to us, okay, fine. I just give up everything and say everything to karma? No. He says, do your work. Inactivity is not accepted. Is abhorred, is abominable. That's what the Bhagavad Gita says. That's what the Lord says in the Bhagavad Gita. Okay? Mataji, I don't know if I answered your question, but you know what? I think we have to look at it very deeply to understand and appreciate everything we have. Every minute what we have is actually a divine gift. So make use of this divine gift. Make difference to yourself and make difference to everybody around you. That's what the Bhagavad Gita is all about.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, one more thing. Let us say that, like when you had mentioned that part where what you think at the time of death will manifest. Simple. My only thing is, suppose if a boy, whatever he has taught during the time of his youth or whatever he has kept, but as he grows older, he switches his thinking towards Brahma and Krishna. So that can change his life after death.
If I understood your question well, but let me try and 2.40. I'll take you back. Swalpam api asya dharmasya. Anything that you do, any small endeavor that you undertake at any point in time in your life will not going to go waste.
Okay.
That is for sure. Okay.
Yes, Mata.
For sure. But if you really want to get yourself completely liberated from the cycles of birth and death, then the formula is Krishna all the time. But it does not mean only Krishna. What did he say? Do your prescribed duties. And how should you do the prescribed duties? with no attachment and no aversion. Nishkama karma. Okay.
Yes.
Rashmi ji, Hare Krishna. You said, we get liberation. I don't know about 7 janmas. I think, 84 lakh species is what the Bhagavad Gita says. That's what is there in the scriptures, and there is a lot of evidence for that. So I don't think it's 7 janmas. I think it has taken us several janmas to come to this janma, right? And it all depends on how we are going to, lower or, remove the lower tendencies and increase our higher tendencies. So we kind of, produce the vasanas. The mind is the place for vasanas. All the, we like desires. Oh, today I have this, I want another one. Oh, today I have this car, I want a better car. Oh, today I have a 4-bedroom, I want a 5-bedroom tomorrow. That's a desire. If that's the kind of a desire you keep on pumping into you, I don't think, 7 janmas are enough. We will have to wait many more janmas. Hare Krishna. Anything
Thank
else?
you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Anything else? Okay. If nothing else, who are afraid? Vaishnavi ji, Meenakshi ji, what do you do normally? How do you close the class?
Mataji, Maitri Mataji has raised her hand. Can we pick up?
Maitri Mataji. Hare Krishna, Maitri Naidu ji. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Boliye. Hare Krishna. Unmute yourself, Mataji. Maitri ji. Hare Krishna. I'm not able to unmute her, Vaishnavi ji. No, she's not unmuting herself.
Mataji, please unmute to ask your question.
Hare Krishna, Maitri ji. Okay, I think, well, she can put it up in the chat and maybe, Okay. So are we done?
Yes,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna, everybody. So is there any particular format in which you end, Vaishnavi ji?
Yes, Mataji, you can end, Mataji.
Okay. Now, is there any announcements for them? Any announcements?
No, Mataji.
No. Oh, okay. Hare Krishna, everyone. It was wonderful interacting with you. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you for hearing me patiently. Thank you. Hare Krishna. So I'm going to end the session now. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.